You picked the wrong black woman to harass today. General Nadia Brooks kept her voice steady and strong as Officer Kane twisted her arm behind her back. The metal cuffs snapped around her wrists far too tight, biting into her skin and drawing blood. Talking back to an officer, Captain Harlan loomed over her. That's how people like you end up with problems. General Nadia Brooks memorized his badge number, his name tag, and the mole above his left eyebrow. Check her for weapons, Captain Harlan commanded. Officer Kane jabbed her ribs during the search, then found her wallet, keys, and phone, tossing them into an evidence bag. Something funny? Captain Harlan demanded when he noticed her calm expression. General Nadia Brooks said nothing. They missed the military communicator hidden in her jacket lining. Get her in the car, Captain Harlan barked. A night in holding should fix that attitude. They shoved her head down and forced her into the cruiser. They had no idea who they had just arrested. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead in the processing room, which smelled of sweat and cleaning chemicals. General Nadia Brooks stood perfectly still for her mugshot as the camera clicked. Name, the booking officer said without looking up from his computer. Nadia Brooks. Address. She gave her Maple Avenue address. The officer paused, his eyes narrowing. That's in Westfield Heights. His tone changed, recognizing the predominantly black neighborhood. General Nadia Brooks pressed her thumb against the fingerprint scanner, the black ink staining her skin. Behind her, Captain Harlan and Officer Kane laughed by the water cooler. Another one from that neighborhood thinking she's special, Officer Kane said, his voice carrying deliberately, acting like the checkpoint doesn't apply to her. Had to put her in her place, Captain Harlan replied. These people need to learn. General Nadia Brooks memorized every word, every inflection, and every face, watching her processing. Phone call? She asked the booking officer. He pointed to the wall phone. One call, make it count. General Nadia Brooks dialed a number from memory. Not her lawyer, not family. Operations Center, Pentagon, a crisp voice answered. Authorization code Tango Delta 7949. General Nadia Brooks spoke clearly. Initiating protocol oversight Delta. Location transmitting. A moment of silence followed. Confirmed, General Brooks. Response team deploying. She hung up as Councilman Derek Vaughn stormed into the station. His expensive suit and championship ring gleamed under the harsh lights. Another troublemaker? Councilman Vaughn demanded, looking through the glass at General Nadia Brooks. Captain Harlan nodded. Just processing her now, sir. Good, Councilman Vaughn said. These checkpoint resistors need consequences. The program is too important. General Nadia Brooks was escorted to a holding cell. The door clanged shut. She sat on the metal bench, back straight and face composed. Soon, everything would change. Sunset painted the sky orange over Westfield Heights as General Nadia Brooks drove her modest sedan through the familiar streets. The neighborhood transitioned from predominantly black to the wealthier, whiter suburbs of Greenfield. Blue lights flashed ahead. Police cruisers blocked the road. A checkpoint. General Nadia Brooks slowed, her window already rolling down. She had done nothing wrong. This should take seconds. Officer Kane approached, his flashlight beam sweeping across her face. License and registration. General Nadia Brooks reached slowly for her glove compartment. May I ask what this checkpoint is for, officer? Officer Kane stiffened. Just routine ID now. She handed over her driver's license. Officer Kane studied it, his flashlight lingering on her address. Westfield Heights resident, he said into his radio, requesting additional verification. General Nadia Brooks noticed his emphasis on her neighborhood. Is there a problem with my identification, officer? Wait here. Officer Kane walked back to the cruiser, license in hand. General Nadia Brooks watched through her rearview mirror as he showed it to another officer. They both looked at her car and laughed. Captain Harlan emerged from the command vehicle. Officer Kane pointed at General Nadia Brooks's car. Captain Harlan nodded and approached with deliberate slowness. Step out of the vehicle, ma'am. His tone carried no respect despite the formality. May I ask why? My license is valid. Step out now. Captain Harlan's hand rested on his holster. We're implementing enhanced search protocol. General Nadia Brooks knew her rights. Enhanced search requires reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. What's your suspicion, Captain? Captain Harlan's face hardened. Out of the car. General Nadia Brooks complied, her movements deliberate. I'd like to note that this appears to be selective enforcement. We decide what's selective, Captain Harlan said. Hands on the hood. I decline consent to search my vehicle without probable cause, General Nadia Brooks stated calmly. Terry versus Ohio and Delaware versus Prowse establish clear guidelines for... Look at the lawyer here, Officer Kane mocked, moving closer. Thinks she knows the law. General Nadia Brooks stood her ground. I'm familiar with my Fourth Amendment rights. Captain Harlan stepped closer. Your kind always want to make things difficult. My kind? General Nadia Brooks raised an eyebrow. Troublemakers, Captain Harlan clarified, but his meaning hung transparent in the air. Other drivers watched from their cars. Some recorded with phones. Captain Harlan noticed and gestured to another officer. Clear these vehicles through, no recordings. General Nadia Brooks observed Officer Lang approaching cars and making people put their phones away. She committed each face to memory, each badge number, each license plate. Last chance, Captain Harlan said. Consent to search or face obstruction charges. I respectfully decline and request a supervisor, General Nadia Brooks said, her voice steady and professional. I am the supervisor. Captain Harlan signaled to Officer Kane. Detain her. Officer Kane grabbed General Nadia Brooks's arm, twisting it behind her back. The pain shot through her shoulder. Stop resisting! Officer Kane shouted, though she wasn't resisting. I'm not resisting, General Nadia Brooks said clearly, aware of creating an audio record. I'm complying under protest. Captain Harlan stepped closer. You don't tell us how to do our jobs. General Nadia Brooks noticed Officer Kane's body camera. The red recording light blinked off. Your body camera appears to be malfunctioning, Officer Kane, she noted. Mind your own business. Officer Kane tightened his grip. General Nadia Brooks's military training kicked in. She could have disabled both officers in seconds, but that was not why she was there. Not tonight's mission. I'll be filing a formal complaint, she said instead. Captain Harlan laughed. Good luck with that. Councilman Vaughn personally oversees checkpoint operations. Your complaint goes straight to his trash can. General Nadia Brooks's watch pressed against her wrist. The military device captured every word, every admission. Evidence gathering continued. Search the car, Captain Harlan ordered another officer. Sir, without a warrant, General Nadia Brooks began. We have checkpoint authority under City Ordinance 27-9, Captain Harlan interrupted, signed by the council last month. General Nadia Brooks knew the ordinance, knew its constitutional flaws, and knew exactly who had pushed it through. "Find anything?" Captain Harlan called to the officer searching her car. "Clean, sir." Captain Harlan seemed disappointed. "Check under the seats. These Westfield people always hiding something." General Nadia Brooks's fingers discreetly pressed a button on her watch. The GPS tracker activated. Pentagon systems now monitored her location in real time. "Nothing, sir," the officer reported. Captain Harlan turned back to General Nadia Brooks. "Well, you're still interfering with a lawful checkpoint. That's obstruction." "Citing constitutional protections is not obstruction," General Nadia Brooks countered. "And now arguing with an officer." Captain Harlan nodded to Officer Kane. "Cuff her." The metal cuffs bit into her wrists as Officer Kane secured them too tight deliberately. "Nadia Brooks, you're under arrest for obstruction of justice and resisting a lawful checkpoint inspection," Captain Harlan recited, satisfaction in his voice. General Nadia Brooks noticed a young woman in a nearby car, recording discreetly. Their eyes met briefly. General Nadia Brooks gave an imperceptible nod. "You have the right to remain silent," Captain Harlan continued. "I'm aware of my Miranda rights, Captain," General Nadia Brooks interrupted. "I assume you're transporting me to the Greenfield station." Captain Harlan paused, thrown by her composure. "That's right. I'll need my phone call when we arrive." "You'll get what we decide to give you," Officer Kane said, shoving her toward the cruiser. As they led her away, General Nadia Brooks glanced at the checkpoint. Officer Lang turned away another Westfield Heights resident for additional screening. 3 cars with white drivers passed through without stopping. Pattern established. Evidence accumulating. Officer Kane pushed her head down, forcing her into the back seat. "Officer Kane, badge number 4572. That use of force is unnecessary and excessive," General Nadia Brooks stated for her watch's recording. "Shut up," Officer Kane snapped, slamming the door. Through the window, General Nadia Brooks watched Captain Harlan speaking with another officer. He gestured toward Westfield Heights and laughed. The cruiser pulled away from the checkpoint. General Nadia Brooks sat calmly in the back, mentally reviewing the Pentagon protocol she had just activated. The situation was proceeding exactly as anticipated. The interrogation room at Greenfield Station smelled of stale coffee and floor cleaner. A single overhead light cast harsh shadows. The metal table was bolted to the floor. General Nadia Brooks sat straight-backed in the uncomfortable chair, her handcuffs still tight. The door opened. Captain Harlan entered carrying a thin folder and General Nadia Brooks's confiscated belongings. He dropped them on the table. "Comfortable?" His smile didn't reach his eyes. General Nadia Brooks didn't respond. The less she said, the more they revealed. Captain Harlan opened the folder. "Nadia Brooks, Westfield Heights address. No priors?" He looked up. "First time being educated about checkpoint compliance. I'd like to speak with an attorney. Soon enough." Captain Harlan circled the table. "We're just having a conversation first. I invoke my right to counsel." General Nadia Brooks's voice remained level and precise. Captain Harlan ignored her. "See, we have a problem in this town. People who don't respect authority, people who think rules don't apply to them." He leaned against the wall, studying her. "Checkpoints keep Greenfield safe. Some folks don't like being checked. Those folks usually have something to hide." General Nadia Brooks remained silent. Her military training included resistance to interrogation techniques, Captain Harlan's amateur intimidation tactics wouldn't break a first-year cadet. Nothing to say? Captain Harlan flipped through her wallet. Interesting ID you've got here. He pulled out her military ID, studied it, and snorted. Marine Corps General, 4 stars. He tossed it on the table. Nice fake, adding impersonating military personnel to your charges. General Nadia Brooks watched him carefully. That identification is authentic. Right, Captain Harlan laughed. And I'm the Secretary of Defense. His phone buzzed. He checked the screen and nodded slightly. Our concerned citizen is here, Captain Harlan said, moving to the door. Someone wants to meet the latest checkpoint troublemaker. General Nadia Brooks's photographic memory cataloged every procedural violation, every failed Miranda compliance, and every civil rights infringement. Captain Harlan left. Through the thin walls, General Nadia Brooks heard a new voice, authoritative and impatient. Another one from that neighborhood. The voice belonged to Councilman Derek Vaughn. Yes, sir, Captain Harlan responded. Gave us the usual constitutional speech. Had a fake military ID, too. Military? Councilman Vaughn sounded interested. What branch? Marines, claims to be a general. Captain Harlan's laugh carried through the wall. Get what you need and process her, Councilman Vaughn said. Make an example. These checkpoint resistors are undermining the whole program. General Nadia Brooks noticed the one-way glass and felt Councilman Vaughn watching from the other side. The door opened again. Captain Harlan returned with Officer Kane. Let's try again. Captain Harlan slapped a form on the table. Sign this confession to obstruction. Take a misdemeanor charge and you'll be out by morning. General Nadia Brooks studied the document without touching it. I'll need my attorney present before signing anything. Officer Kane stepped forward. Captain asked you nicely. And I respectfully declined, General Nadia Brooks replied. Captain Harlan nodded to Officer Kane, who moved behind General Nadia Brooks's chair. His presence was meant to intimidate. You people from Westfield Heights think you're special, Captain Harlan said. Think the rules don't apply. But Councilman Vaughn's checkpoint program has cut crime in Greenfield by 30%. By targeting specific neighborhoods? General Nadia Brooks asked. Captain Harlan's expression hardened. By enforcing the law where it needs enforcing. Selective enforcement isn't legal enforcement, General Nadia Brooks said. Officer Kane placed heavy hands on her shoulders. You should listen to the captain. General Nadia Brooks didn't react to the physical intimidation. I believe this interview is over until my counsel arrives. Captain Harlan collected her belongings, intentionally dropping her military ID on the floor. He stepped on it as he walked around the table. This little military costume doesn't impress me, he sneered, picking up the ID. Though I admire the attention to detail. 4 stars. Ambitious fake. He tossed the ID back on the table. Officer Kane increased pressure on General Nadia Brooks's shoulders. We've got all night, Captain Harlan said. Plenty of time for you to reconsider that signature. A sharp knock interrupted. The door opened immediately. Detective Javier Ruiz stood in the doorway. His expression shifted from professional to confused as he took in the scene. Captain, Detective Ruiz said carefully. A moment outside. Captain Harlan hesitated, then nodded to Officer Kane. Watch her. The door closed behind them. Through the wall, General Nadia Brooks heard urgent whispers. The conversation grew heated. Someone knocked urgently on the interrogation room door. The door opened. Detective Javier Ruiz entered, followed by a visibly agitated Captain Harlan. Detective Ruiz, mid-30s with observant eyes, carried himself differently than the other officers. His badge hung from a chain around his neck. His suit, while department issue, fit properly. "Officer Kane, you're needed at the front desk," Detective Ruiz said. Officer Kane looked to Captain Harlan, who nodded reluctantly. Officer Kane left, closing the door firmly behind him. Detective Javier Ruiz approached the table. He picked up General Nadia Brooks's military ID, examining it closely. "Captain, this ID has proper security features," Detective Ruiz said. "The holographic seal, microprinting, UV watermarks, all authentic military issue." Captain Harlan scoffed. "It's a good fake." "No, sir." Detective Ruiz placed the ID gently on the table. "I served before joining the department. This is genuine." Captain Harlan's confidence wavered momentarily. So she stole a military ID, added to the charges. General Nadia Brooks watched the dynamic between them. Detective Ruiz represented something rare: integrity within a corrupted system. "Ma'am," Detective Ruiz addressed General Nadia Brooks directly. "May I ask your name and rank?" "General Nadia Brooks, United States Marine Corps." Detective Ruiz straightened instinctively. Military bearing doesn't fade with time. "And what brings you to Greenfield, General?" Detective Ruiz asked. Before General Nadia Brooks could answer, Captain Harlan interrupted. "Detective, she's being processed for obstruction and checkpoint evasion. Her occupation is irrelevant." "Sir, if she's active military, we have jurisdictional protocols to follow," Detective Ruiz countered. Captain Harlan stepped closer to Detective Ruiz. "I'm handling this case." "Captain, department policy requires verification of military credentials," Detective Ruiz persisted. "Section 14 of our procedural manual specifically states—" "I know the manual," Captain Harlan snapped. "Then you know we're already in violation of proper procedure." Detective Ruiz didn't back down. No attorney present despite request. Continued questioning after rights invocation. Extended detention without processing. Captain Harlan's jaw tightened. "Detective, remember your place." "My place is ensuring department procedures are followed," Detective Ruiz replied evenly. He turned back to General Nadia Brooks's ID, examining the rank insignia. His eyes widened. "Sir," Detective Ruiz whispered, "these are 4 stars. So 4 stars is the highest rank in the Marine Corps." Detective Ruiz looked at General Nadia Brooks with new understanding. "There are only a handful in the entire military." Captain Harlan's confidence cracked further. "It's still a fake." The interrogation room door swung open. Councilman Derek Vaughn entered without knocking. His tailored suit and signet ring projected authority and wealth. "Captain, what's the delay?" Councilman Vaughn demanded. "I thought this was routine processing." His eyes fell on General Nadia Brooks. He assessed her with practiced political calculation. "Councilman Vaughn," Detective Ruiz said, "we have a situation. This woman appears to be a high-ranking military officer." Councilman Vaughn scoffed. "Based on what?" "Military identification consistent with a Marine Corps general," Detective Ruiz explained. "We need to verify through proper channels before proceeding." "Detective, isn't it?" Councilman Vaughn checked Detective Ruiz's nameplate. "Your concern for procedure is noted. Now let the captain handle this." Detective Ruiz stood his ground. "Sir, with respect, if we've detained a military general improperly, the department faces serious repercussions." "If," Councilman Vaughn emphasized. A remarkably big if. He turned to Captain Harlan. Captain, handle the paperwork and process her. Detective Ruiz, you're needed elsewhere. Sir, Detective Ruiz protested. Standard protocol requires... Standard protocol is what I say it is. Councilman Vaughn interrupted. The checkpoint program operates under special city ordinance, my ordinance. General Nadia Brooks watched Detective Ruiz carefully. She saw the moment his professional ethics confronted political reality. Councilman, Detective Ruiz said carefully, may I at least verify her identity through military channels? A simple phone call. Councilman Vaughn studied Detective Ruiz. You're new to Greenfield, aren't you, Detective? Transferred 6 months ago, sir. Then let me explain how things work here. Councilman Vaughn stepped closer. The checkpoint program is essential to Greenfield's safety and property values. Occasional complaints are expected. They're handled quietly and quickly. By violating rights? Detective Ruiz asked. Councilman Vaughn's smile turned cold. By maintaining order. Don't overthink your role, Detective. The phone on the wall suddenly rang. All three turned toward it. Captain Harlan answered. Captain Harlan. He listened, frowning. What kind of call? His expression shifted from annoyance to confusion. From where? Captain Harlan's face paled slightly. He hung up. What is it? Councilman Vaughn demanded. Front desk has received calls asking about a General Brooks, Captain Harlan said slowly. From whom? Councilman Vaughn asked. Captain Harlan swallowed. The Pentagon. The room fell silent. Councilman Vaughn and Captain Harlan exchanged glances. Probably her friends playing games, Councilman Vaughn dismissed. Captain, finish processing. And sir, Captain Harlan interrupted, they mentioned her by name and rank. They knew she was here. Councilman Vaughn turned to General Nadia Brooks, reassessing. Detective Ruiz's eyes widened at the 4 stars on her ID card. Sir, do you realize who we've arrested? Councilman Vaughn silenced him with a gesture. Captain, verify this properly now. Captain Harlan exited quickly. Councilman Vaughn studied General Nadia Brooks with new caution. If you are military, Councilman Vaughn said, you should understand the importance of security checkpoints. I understand constitutional rights, General Nadia Brooks replied, and selective enforcement. Councilman Vaughn's political smile returned. General, if that's what you are, surely we can resolve this misunderstanding amicably. The phone rang again. Captain Harlan answered from outside. His voice carried through the door. Yes, sir. Yes, she's here. No, sir. I understand, sir. Councilman Vaughn watched the door with growing concern. Captain Harlan returned, visibly shaken. That was Colonel Mitchell from the Pentagon Military Police. They've confirmed her identity. Excellent. Councilman Vaughn recovered quickly. Then release the general immediately with our apologies for the misunderstanding. There's more, Captain Harlan said, quietly. They're sending representatives here now. Councilman Vaughn's political mask slipped. What representatives? A military investigation unit, Captain Harlan said. They specifically mentioned your checkpoint program, sir. Councilman Vaughn turned to General Nadia Brooks. Understanding dawned in his eyes. This wasn't a coincidence. He realized her presence at the checkpoint. General Nadia Brooks met his gaze steadily. The station's front desk phone began to ring. The persistent ringing echoed through the station. Multiple lines now lit up across desks. Councilman Vaughn moved to the interrogation room door, closing it firmly. His political composure cracked further. "What exactly is happening here?" he demanded. General Nadia Brooks remained silent. Her mission didn't require explanation. Captain Harlan's radio crackled. "Captain, we have multiple incoming calls. Pentagon, DOJ, Governor's Office." "Handle it," Councilman Vaughn snapped. "Sir," Captain Harlan responded, "they're specifically asking about General Brooks." Detective Ruiz watched this exchange with growing awareness. He moved closer to General Nadia Brooks. "Would you like those handcuffs removed, General?" he asked quietly. Councilman Vaughn glared at him. "Detective, step back." "Sir, she's been confirmed as a military general," Detective Ruiz argued. "Continuing to detain her is my decision," Councilman Vaughn interrupted. He pointed at General Nadia Brooks. "Whatever game you're playing ends now." General Nadia Brooks finally spoke. "This isn't a game, Councilman. It's an investigation." "Investigation?" Councilman Vaughn laughed, but uncertainty edged his voice. "Into what?" "Systematic civil rights violations through discriminatory checkpoint practices," General Nadia Brooks stated. "Targeting minority neighborhoods, violating Fourth Amendment protections, implementing quotas based on race and district." Councilman Vaughn's face hardened. "Ridiculous accusations." "Documented accusations," General Nadia Brooks corrected. Captain Harlan's radio crackled again. "Captain, military vehicles approaching the station." Councilman Vaughn's political calculation visibly shifted to self-preservation. He turned to Captain Harlan. "Release her now. Claim miscommunication. Blame the officers who made the arrest." Captain Harlan hesitated. "Sir, Officer Kane followed your checkpoint protocols exactly." "Then blame the protocols," Councilman Vaughn hissed. "Just contain this." Detective Ruiz stepped forward, removing a small key from his pocket. He unlocked General Nadia Brooks's handcuffs. "My apologies, General," he said formally. Councilman Vaughn watched this with growing alarm. "Detective, prepare the necessary paperwork for the General's immediate release." Detective Ruiz nodded, but made no move to leave. "Now, Detective." "In a moment, sir." Detective Ruiz turned to General Nadia Brooks. "General, may I ask what happens next?" General Nadia Brooks rubbed her wrists where the cuffs had bitten into her skin. "Just as happens next, Detective Ruiz." Councilman Vaughn laughed nervously. "A simple misunderstanding doesn't require such dramatics." "Documented civil rights violations isn't a misunderstanding," General Nadia Brooks replied. Detective Ruiz looked between them. General Nadia Brooks nodded. "The Pentagon has been monitoring Greenfield's checkpoint program since its implementation, gathering evidence, building a case." She checked her watch. "And now that case is complete." Captain Harlan's radio crackled once more. "Captain, 3 black SUVs have entered the parking lot, military personnel disembarking." Councilman Vaughn moved to the door. "I need to make some calls." "Your calls won't help, Councilman," General Nadia Brooks said. "This investigation has federal oversight." Councilman Vaughn's hand froze on the doorknob. The political mask shattered completely. Detective Ruiz stepped closer to General Nadia Brooks. He discreetly slid a USB drive across the table. "Internal Affairs has been looking into the checkpoint program," he whispered, "but we kept hitting roadblocks, administrative obstruction." "Evidence of direct interference?" General Nadia Brooks asked quietly. Detective Ruiz nodded. "Everything I could gather. Checkpoint locations, arrest demographics, Internal communications. "It's time, General," he whispered. The interrogation room door swung open. A military officer in full dress uniform entered, followed by 2 MPs. The Silver Eagle insignia identified him as Colonel Mitchell. Colonel Mitchell surveyed the room, his gaze stopping on General Nadia Brooks. "General Brooks," he saluted crisply. "Colonel." General Nadia Brooks returned the salute. "Thank you for the prompt response." "Of course, ma'am." Colonel Mitchell turned to the others. "I'm Colonel Mitchell, Pentagon Investigative Services. These are my associates." Councilman Vaughn stepped forward, his political smile reinstated. "Councilman Derek Vaughn, Greenfield City Council. This has been an unfortunate misunderstanding." "Sir," Colonel Mitchell interrupted, "please remain in the station. My team will have questions for you shortly." Councilman Vaughn's smile faltered. "Questions? I assure you, I had no knowledge of the General's improper detention." "Noted," Colonel Mitchell said without inflection. He turned to Captain Harlan. "Captain, secure this room for the General's use. We'll need your main conference room for our team." Captain Harlan hesitated. "Colonel, this is a police station. You don't have jurisdiction." "I have direct authorization from the Secretary of Defense," Colonel Mitchell cut him off. "Your cooperation is not optional." The station filled with activity. Military personnel set up equipment in the conference room. Computer specialists accessed the station's systems. Evidence collection teams secured records. Councilman Vaughn watched with growing alarm. This response seems excessive for a simple detention issue. General Nadia Brooks stood, straightening her civilian clothes. "This isn't about my detention, Councilman. It's about what my detention represents." She turned to Colonel Mitchell. "Status report." "Teams deployed as ordered, General. Evidence preservation protocols in effect." "Pentagon liaison briefing the governor now." Councilman Vaughn attempted to leave. 2 MPs politely but firmly directed him back. "This is outrageous," he protested. "I have rights." "Yes," General Nadia Brooks agreed. "Everyone does. That's precisely the point." General Nadia Brooks and Colonel Mitchell moved to the conference room, now transformed into a command center. Digital displays showed checkpoint locations throughout Greenfield, all strategically positioned between Westfield Heights and wealthy neighborhoods. Detective Ruiz followed, carrying case files. "General, I've brought the internal documentation you requested." "Thank you, Detective," General Nadia Brooks said. "Your assistance is invaluable." Councilman Vaughn and Captain Harlan were escorted in, directed to seats away from each other. Officer Kane joined them, confusion evident on his face. General Nadia Brooks stood at the head of the table. The room fell silent. "Gentlemen," she began, "the Pentagon received multiple complaints about a police checkpoint program targeting minority neighborhoods in Greenfield. Initial review suggested Fourth Amendment violations. Further investigation revealed something more disturbing." She activated the main display. A map appeared showing checkpoint arrest statistics. Red dots clustered exclusively in minority neighborhoods. "Selective enforcement," General Nadia Brooks continued. "Checkpoint stops resulting in searches, 89% minority drivers. Arrests from those stops, 94% minority citizens." Captain Harlan shifted uncomfortably. "Crime statistics justify deployment." "Traffic violations occur at equal rates across demographics," General Nadia Brooks interrupted. "Yet your checkpoint program produced these results." She changed the display. Internal police emails appeared. "Captain Harlan, this is your message to officers. Focus on vehicles from Westfield Heights. Higher yield for arrests. Captain Harlan paled. That's taken out of context. Context is provided by your arrest quotas, General Nadia Brooks replied, displaying another document. Specifically targeting Westfield Heights residents, Councilman Vaughn interrupted. General, these operational details were handled by the police department. As councilman, I merely approved the program concept. General Nadia Brooks turned to him. Is that so? She nodded to Colonel Mitchell, who displayed a new document. Councilman Vaughn's signature appeared at the bottom of detailed checkpoint operating procedures. This directive specifies targeting specific neighborhoods, General Nadia Brooks noted. Your signature authorizes racial profiling. Councilman Vaughn's political facade cracked completely. This is a witch hunt. This is accountability, General Nadia Brooks corrected. She turned to Detective Ruiz. Detective, please share what you found during your internal investigation. Detective Ruiz stepped forward. I noticed troubling patterns in checkpoint arrests. When I raised concerns through proper channels, I was reassigned. I continued documenting discrepancies. He opened his file. Checkpoint officers were instructed to use different standards based on drivers' race and residence. Westfield Heights vehicles received heightened scrutiny regardless of driving behavior. Captain Harlan interrupted. That's not... Your body cam footage contradicts you, Captain, General Nadia Brooks said. She played a video. Captain Harlan appeared instructing officers before a checkpoint deployment. Remember, Westfield cars get the full treatment. Make the stop stick. Councilman Vaughn stood abruptly. I need to contact my attorney. You'll have that opportunity, General Nadia Brooks assured him. After we complete this interview, she slid a folder across the table. These are just from the last period of operation. Captain Harlan's face drained of color as he opened the file. The investigation continued into the night. Military personnel processed evidence. Technical teams analyzed department servers. Legal advisors documented violations. In a quiet corner of the conference room, General Nadia Brooks found Detective Ruiz reviewing files. Detective, she said, joining him, your assistance has been crucial. Detective Ruiz looked up, exhaustion etched on his face. I should have done more sooner. You did what you could within a corrupt system, General Nadia Brooks said. That takes courage. Detective Ruiz closed the file. When I transferred to Greenfield, I had no idea the checkpoint program was already established, presented as innovative community policing. When did you realize the truth? General Nadia Brooks asked. Detective Ruiz hesitated, pain flashing across his features. My brother came to visit, he finally said. He was stopped at a checkpoint, detained for hours. No charges, just intimidation. He stared at his hands. He's a pediatric surgeon, drives a nice car, but they only saw a black man in the wrong neighborhood. General Nadia Brooks finished. Detective Ruiz nodded. I filed complaints, used proper channels. Evidence disappeared. Witnesses changed statements. The system protected itself. That's why I'm here, General Nadia Brooks said. Sometimes the system needs external pressure to change. Why you specifically? Detective Ruiz asked. Why did the Pentagon send a 4-star general for a local police investigation? Because some issues transcend jurisdiction, General Nadia Brooks explained. Civil rights violations impact national security, erode public trust, undermine the Constitution we're all sworn to protect. Detective Ruiz absorbed this. What happens to the officers and Councilman Vaughn? Justice, General Nadia Brooks said simply. Due process, the same rights they denied others. And the people they wrongfully arrested, the lives they damaged? Part of the remedy includes case reviews, expungements, compensation. General Nadia Brooks met his eyes. Your brother's case will be among them. Detective Ruiz wiped his eyes quickly. This isn't just about today, is it, General? No, she answered. It's about every day before this and every day that comes after. Detective Ruiz straightened, professional composure returning. What's our next step? Evidence compilation, General Nadia Brooks said. Your testimony will be crucial before the federal grand jury. I'm ready, Detective Ruiz affirmed. For the first time since her arrest, General Nadia Brooks smiled. I know. Dawn broke over Greenfield Police Station. The parking lot filled with government vehicles. FBI agents joined military investigators. Justice Department attorneys arrived with subpoenas. Inside the conference room, the atmosphere shifted from investigation to prosecution. Evidence boards covered the walls. Computer screens displayed data analyses. Legal teams prepared documents. Captain Harlan sat alone, separated from his officers. Councilman Vaughn's attorney arrived hours ago, whispering urgent advice ignored by his client. Colonel Mitchell entered with a new team. General, the Secretary of Defense sends his regards. The investigation has been elevated to Joint Task Force status. General Nadia Brooks nodded. Excellent. Let's proceed with the full briefing. The room filled with senior officials, military, federal, state. The governor's representative sat near the Attorney General's deputy. General Nadia Brooks took position at the head of the table. The room fell silent. Ladies and gentlemen, she began, what started as a civil rights monitoring operation has revealed systematic constitutional violations and abuse of power. Today, I present comprehensive evidence in 3 categories: visual documentation, audio recordings, and written records. She activated the main display. First, visual evidence. Dash cam footage appeared. A vehicle from Westfield Heights stopped at a checkpoint. The driver, professional and polite, was ordered from the car without cause. Search conducted without consent. When he questioned the legality, he was arrested for obstruction. This pattern repeated across hundreds of documented stops, General Nadia Brooks explained. She showed split-screen footage. White drivers passed through checkpoints with cursory checks. Black drivers from Westfield Heights faced extended detentions, searches, and frequent arrests. Checkpoint camera systems captured clear racial disparities in enforcement, General Nadia Brooks continued. White drivers were stopped at 8% frequency, black drivers at 82%. Councilman Vaughn interrupted. Selective editing can create false patterns. These are your department's unaltered recordings, Councilman, General Nadia Brooks replied. Complete timestamps intact. She displayed a heat map of checkpoint placements. Checkpoints were exclusively positioned to intercept residents leaving minority neighborhoods, particularly Westfield Heights. Captain Harlan shifted uncomfortably. Strategic deployment based on traffic patterns was contradicted by your own traffic study, General Nadia Brooks interrupted, displaying the document which recommended different locations entirely. She moved to a new screen. Second category, audio evidence. General Nadia Brooks activated an audio file. Captain Harlan's voice filled the room. Councilman wants more arrests from Westfield. Make it happen. Officer Kane responded, even without cause. Captain Harlan, Find cause. Broken taillight. Failure to signal. Get them out of the car. You'll find something. Councilman Vaughn stood. That recording could be anyone. Voice pattern analysis confirms Captain Harlan and Officer Kane, General Nadia Brooks replied. Recorded during official briefings. She played another recording. Councilman Vaughn's voice now. The checkpoint program serves two purposes. Public safety is what we tell the press. Property values is why we're really doing it. Keep the element where it belongs, in Westfield, not in our neighborhoods. Councilman Vaughn sank back into his chair. My military watch recorded our entire interaction, including unguarded comments when you thought I couldn't hear. The federal officials exchanged glances, the evidence mounted beyond dispute. Finally, General Nadia Brooks continued, documentary evidence. The screen displayed internal emails, text messages, and official memoranda. Captain Harlan to officers, use checkpoint quota system as discussed. Councilman wants numbers up in Westfield demographic. Department statistics appeared. Arrest rates by race. Search rates by neighborhood. Conviction outcomes by demographic. The data revealed unmistakable discriminatory patterns, General Nadia Brooks explained. Checkpoint stops led to arrests for black drivers at 7 times the rate of white drivers for identical violations. She displayed arrest reports side by side, same violation, different races, different outcomes. But the most damning evidence comes from the program's origin, General Nadia Brooks said. She revealed city planning documents, property developer communications with Councilman Vaughn, and financial records. Councilman Vaughn received substantial contributions from developers looking to revitalize Westfield Heights. General Nadia Brooks explained their development strategy required displacing current residents. The documents told the story. Checkpoint harassment designed to pressure Westfield residents to leave. Property values driven down. Developers positioned to purchase at depressed prices. Civil rights violations driven by financial motivation. General Nadia Brooks concluded. Councilman Vaughn's attorney whispered urgently in his ear. Councilman Vaughn ignored him. This is fabricated, Councilman Vaughn insisted. A politically motivated attack. The evidence speaks for itself, General Nadia Brooks replied. And now the final piece. She nodded to Detective Ruiz, who connected his USB drive to the system. Detective Ruiz conducted his own internal investigation, General Nadia Brooks explained, documenting checkpoint operations from within. Detective Ruiz stood. I collected evidence of quotas targeting specific neighborhoods, documented systematic civil rights violations, recorded instructions to ignore constitutional protections. His files appeared on screen. Officer performance reviews tied to Westfield Heights arrest numbers. Checkpoint schedules targeting black churches, community centers, and businesses. Most critically, Detective Ruiz continued, I discovered that complaints about checkpoint practices were systematically buried. He displayed the evidence. Complaint forms marked, resolved without investigation. Witness statements altered. Video evidence deleted. When residents attempted to use proper channels for redress, Detective Ruiz explained, the system was designed to silence them. The room fell silent as officials reviewed the overwhelming evidence. This operation wasn't about my personal detention, General Nadia Brooks explained. I volunteered to test the system directly after months of intelligence gathering. My experience matched exactly what our investigation predicted. She turned to Councilman Vaughn. Your checkpoint program violated the Fourth Amendment, targeted citizens by race, obstructed justice when challenged. The Justice Department official stood. We've seen enough. This evidence supports federal civil rights charges. Councilman Vaughn looked around desperately. This is a misunderstanding. The program had legitimate public safety goals. The evidence contradicts that claim, General Nadia Brooks responded. Councilman Vaughn attempted one last defense. General Brooks intentionally provoked officers, created this situation. Entrapment. I simply drove through a public checkpoint, General Nadia Brooks replied calmly. My rights were violated because of who I am and where I live. Exactly like hundreds of other citizens. She displayed the final document. This is the classified Pentagon investigation authorization, signed by the Secretary of Defense, launched after multiple military personnel reported discriminatory treatment at your checkpoints. The reality of his situation finally hit Councilman Vaughn. He turned to his attorney in panic. The investigation is complete, General Nadia Brooks announced. Federal prosecutors will now determine specific charges. The Pentagon investigator connected the final laptop to the projector. This evidence went back years. FBI agents approached Captain Harlan, Officer Kane, and other implicated officers. Justice Department officials surrounded Councilman Vaughn. Edward Vaughn, you're under federal investigation for civil rights violations, abuse of power, and obstruction of justice, the lead federal prosecutor announced. Councilman Vaughn stood abruptly. I need to make a statement to the press. Control the narrative. He moved toward the door. Military police stood ready. Councilman Vaughn attempted to leave through the back door where military police waited. A congressional hearing room filled with observers, press, and officials. General Nadia Brooks sat at the witness table in full dress uniform. 4 stars gleamed on her shoulders. Medals and ribbons testified to decades of service. The committee chairperson called the session to order. This hearing on civil rights enforcement in local policing will now begin. General Brooks, thank you for your testimony today. General Nadia Brooks adjusted her microphone. Thank you for the opportunity to address this committee. Please summarize the Pentagon's investigation into the Greenfield Checkpoint program, the chairperson requested. The Department of Defense received multiple complaints from military personnel subjected to discriminatory treatment at police checkpoints in Greenfield, General Nadia Brooks began. Initial investigation revealed a pattern of constitutional violations, specifically targeting minority neighborhoods. She presented the evidence methodically: the discriminatory checkpoint placements, the racial disparities in enforcement, the financial motivations behind the program. Our investigation confirmed systematic Fourth Amendment violations. Citizens were detained, searched, and arrested without probable cause. When they attempted to assert their rights, they faced increased charges. A committee member interrupted. Why did this require Pentagon involvement rather than Justice Department? The initial complaints came from military personnel, General Nadia Brooks explained. However, we quickly discovered that civilians faced identical treatment. We coordinated with Justice Department officials to ensure comprehensive investigation. General Nadia Brooks displayed the checkpoint map. The program strategically isolated the predominantly black community of Westfield Heights. Residents faced constant harassment when traveling to work, school, or shopping. The evidence unfolded on screen. Arrest statistics by race, search rates by neighborhood, conviction patterns showing clear discrimination. Most concerning, General Nadia Brooks continued, was that the program operated with explicit city approval. Councilman Vaughn personally directed police to target specific demographics. Another committee member leaned forward. And the current status of those involved? Councilman Vaughn faces federal civil rights charges, General Nadia Brooks reported. Captain Harlan and 5 officers have been indicted. The checkpoint program has been permanently terminated. She paused, then added, "Most importantly, all convictions stemming from unconstitutional checkpoints are under review for expungement." The chairperson nodded. "General, your decision to personally test the checkpoint system was unconventional. What motivated this approach?" "Sometimes systems only reveal their true nature through direct experience," General Nadia Brooks explained. "As a black woman and a military officer, I was uniquely positioned to document the disparity between how citizens should be treated and how they were actually treated." A supportive committee member spoke. "I'd like to recognize Detective Javier Ruiz, whose internal investigation provided crucial evidence. Detective, please stand." Detective Ruiz rose from the audience. The room applauded his courage. "Detective Ruiz risked his career to document these violations," General Nadia Brooks acknowledged. "His ethical commitment represents the best of law enforcement." The chairperson turned serious. "What changes do you recommend to prevent similar abuses nationwide?" "First, independent oversight of checkpoint operations," General Nadia Brooks suggested. "Second, mandatory data collection on stops by demographic. Third, clear consequences for departments showing discriminatory patterns." She looked directly at the committee. "Most importantly, we must recognize that constitutional rights aren't optional. They don't depend on race, neighborhood, or economic status." The hearing continued with questions and testimony. General Nadia Brooks provided detailed responses, always returning to the core principle: equal protection under law. As the session concluded, the chairperson made an announcement. "Based on this investigation, we're introducing legislation establishing federal standards for checkpoint operations. The Equitable Enforcement Act will require transparency, accountability, and constitutional compliance." Outside the hearing room, General Nadia Brooks met with Detective Ruiz. "The committee was impressed with your evidence," she told him. "The FBI has offered you a position with their Civil Rights Division." Detective Ruiz smiled. "I've accepted. Change sometimes requires working from the inside." "And your brother?" General Nadia Brooks asked. "His record has been expunged," Detective Ruiz confirmed. "He's helping organize the class action lawsuit for other checkpoint victims." General Nadia Brooks nodded approvingly. "Justice works slowly, but it does work when good people insist upon it," Detective Ruiz added. A community center in Westfield Heights. Residents gathered for a town hall meeting with their new police chief. General Nadia Brooks, now in civilian clothes, sat quietly in the back. She watched as Detective Ruiz, no longer a detective but a community liaison, facilitated dialogue between residents and police. The new chief announced reformed policies: body cameras always activated, stop data publicly available, community oversight board with real authority. After the meeting, an elderly resident approached General Nadia Brooks. "You're the general, aren't you? The one who brought down those checkpoints?" General Nadia Brooks smiled. "I just helped expose the truth." "You did more than that," the woman said. "My grandson was arrested at one of those checkpoints, lost his scholarship because of it. Now his records are cleared and he's back in college." "I'm glad to hear that," General Nadia Brooks responded. "One thing I don't understand," the woman continued. "You're a general. You could have used your rank from the beginning. Why go through the arrest?" "Because most people can't use rank or privilege to protect their rights," General Nadia Brooks explained. "The system should work equally for everyone, not just those with status." The woman nodded thoughtfully. "My grandson wants to be a lawyer now, says somebody needs to know the law to protect the community." "He's right," General Nadia Brooks agreed. Knowing your rights is the first step to defending them. Outside, Detective Ruiz waited to drive General Nadia Brooks to the airport. Returning to the Pentagon? He asked. Yes, General Nadia Brooks confirmed. But our civil rights oversight won't end with Greenfield. This case established a template for identifying similar patterns nationwide. The checkpoint is gone, Detective Ruiz observed as they drove past its former location. But the work continues. General Nadia Brooks looked out at the community. Families walking freely. Residents no longer afraid of arbitrary enforcement. This is what security actually looks like, she said. Not checkpoints and harassment, just people living their lives with dignity and equal protection under the law. The committee chairperson gavelled the session closed. This hearing is concluded, but our work has just begun. General Nadia Brooks stepped into the sunlight outside the Capitol building, a Pentagon conference room. General Nadia Brooks stood before a wall of monitors displaying checkpoint data from cities nationwide. Colonel Mitchell entered with fresh reports. Implementation of the new oversight protocols is proceeding as scheduled, General. 17 departments have voluntarily reformed checkpoint practices. And the resistors? General Nadia Brooks asked. Justice Department has opened investigations into 9 jurisdictions showing similar patterns to Greenfield. General Nadia Brooks studied the data. Red flags highlighted familiar patterns. Checkpoints concentrated around minority neighborhoods, disparate enforcement statistics, complaint suppression. The Greenfield model is proving effective, Colonel Mitchell noted, identifying indicators of systemic discrimination before they become entrenched. General Nadia Brooks nodded. And our military personnel reports? Down 63%, Colonel Mitchell confirmed. The warning system works. Service members report potential civil rights issues directly to our office now. General Nadia Brooks's secure phone chimed. A text from Detective Ruiz. Councilman Vaughn sentenced today. 5 years federal. Restitution ordered for checkpoint victims. Justice delayed but delivered. Her assistant entered. General, your next appointment is here? A young black woman in Air Force uniform entered. Lieutenant Serena Blake, recently detained at a checkpoint outside Maxwell Air Force Base. Lieutenant? General Nadia Brooks greeted her. Thank you for reporting your experience. Lieutenant Serena Blake saluted crisply. I wasn't sure if it warranted attention until I heard about your Greenfield operation. Every data point matters, General Nadia Brooks assured her. Your report matches others from that jurisdiction. Lieutenant Serena Blake straightened. What happens now, ma'am? Now, General Nadia Brooks explained, we follow the evidence, document the pattern, ensure constitutional protections apply equally to everyone. She moved to the window, looking out at the Pentagon courtyard where service members from all backgrounds served a common mission. The uniform doesn't protect us from discrimination, General Nadia Brooks told Lieutenant Serena Blake, but it does give us the responsibility to uphold the Constitution for ourselves and for every citizen. Lieutenant Serena Blake nodded in understanding. That's why I reported it, not just for me. Exactly, General Nadia Brooks agreed. Systems only change when good people recognize injustice and take action. She returned to the data displays and the work that continued. No checkpoints, General Nadia Brooks said. No double standards, just equal justice under law. The map of America glowed on the screen before her. Each indicator represented work to be done. Communities waiting for fairness. Rights requiring protection. General Nadia Brooks got back to work. Did that story grab your attention? Hit that like button right now to support more hard-hitting justice thrillers like this one. PAP Stories delivers powerful voice-only narratives that keep you engaged. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just relaxing, our signature storytelling style brings you into intense moments of injustice and the satisfying path to accountability. Subscribe to never miss our weekly uploads featuring gripping justice thrillers, stories of ordinary people facing extraordinary challenges, powerful narratives with unexpected twists, and premium voice-only content perfect for multitasking. Turn on notifications so you'll know immediately when we drop our next story. Your support helps us create more content that matters. Justice speaks volumes,